I never thought a high school reunion could kill you until I received an invitation to a school that had been condemned for a decade. I should have known something was wrong the moment I saw the email. It was 11:47 p.m. on a Thursday, and I was halfway through my third beer, scrolling mindlessly through my inbox. Bills, spam, more spam. Then, there it was, nestled between a credit card offer and a shipping notification. Subject, Class of 2010 Reunion Night, Friday 8 p.m. Same old gym, new memories. I stared at the screen, my finger hovering over the delete button. Westfield High hadn't hosted anything in years. The place had been shut down back in 2013, after the district built a newer campus across town. I'd driven past it once or twice since then, just a skeleton of a building strangled by weeds and chain-link fence. Windows dark as dead eyes. Still, I clicked it open. The message was brief, almost too brief. Ethan, time flies, doesn't it? 15 years since we walked those halls. Some of us never really left. Come see for yourself. Friday night, 8 p.m. You know where? The planning committee. No signature, no RSVP link, no list of attendees. I laughed, a short, nervous sound that echoed too loud in my empty apartment. Probably Mason and the guys, I thought. They'd always had a twisted sense of humor, and this had their fingerprints all over it. A prank video for their YouTube channel? Maybe? Get the old crew together, film some fake ghost hunting nonsense in the abandoned school. I typed back a single word. Sure. Then I drained my beer and tried to ignore the faint unease crawling up my spine. Friday evening arrived faster than I expected. By 7:30 I was in my car, headlights cutting through a fog that seemed to rise from nowhere. The roads leading to Westfield were emptier than I remembered, flanked by overgrown trees that pressed in like spectators. The sign appeared suddenly: Westfield High School, home of the Wildcat, stilted at an angle, half swallowed by ivy. The parking lot was a wasteland of cracked asphalt and faded yellow lines. My car looked obscenely out of place as I pulled in, tires crunching over broken glass. No other vehicles. No Mason. No planning committee. I sat there for a moment, engine idling, telling myself I could still leave. But then I saw a faint light flickering through one of the gymnasium windows. Movement, maybe, or just my imagination playing tricks. I killed the engine and stepped out into the cold. The air smelled wrong. Mildew and rust and something else, something sweet and rotten, like flowers left too long in standing water. The main doors stood slightly ajar, their windows shattered into jagged teeth. I pushed them open, and they groaned like something waking up. Inside, the darkness was absolute. I fumbled for my phone, using its flashlight to navigate. The hallways stretched out before me, lockers gaping open, their contents long since looted or rotted away. Torn posters clung to the walls, pep rally announcements, club meetings, faded banner for prom 2010 that read "A Night to Remember" in cheerful cursive. My footsteps echoed too loud. I tried to call Mason, but my phone showed no signal, no bars. Just a blank screen mocking me. Hello? I called out, my voice swallowed by the void. Guys, this isn't funny. Silence. Then faint. Distant, the sound of music. Old music. Something slow and melancholy, the kind they'd played during the last dance at prom all those years ago.
Claire, remember the dance?
I followed it, my heart beginning to hammer against my ribs. The gymnasium doors were open. The vast space beyond was darker than it should have been, the ceiling lost in shadow. Torn banners still hung from the rafters, swaying slightly though there was no breeze. The bleachers stood empty, and the floor, once polished wood, was now warped and stained. And there, in the center of it all, was a single spotlight. Not electric. Not from any visible source, just light pooling on the floor like spilled milk. I stepped closer, and that's when I saw the trophy case. It stood against the far wall, glass dusty but intact. Inside were the usual relics, plaques, team photos, academic awards. But front and center was something that didn't belong. A photograph. Recent, too recent, it was me and my old friends. All of us standing in this very gymnasium, smiling at the camera. The date stamped in the corner read "Tonight." My hands started shaking. "Do you remember me, Ethan?" The voice came from everywhere and nowhere soft, feminine, laced with something that might have been sadness or rage or both. I spun around, flashlight beams slicing wildly through the dark. Nothing, just shadows and dust and the faint strains of that music. Then I saw my old locker. Number 127. It stood open, its door hanging at an odd angle. Inside, pinned to the rusted metal, was a photograph I hadn't seen in 15 years. Prom night. 2010. Me, in a rented tux, surrounded by Mason and the others, all of us grinning like we owned the world. And in the background, barely visible, a girl in a pale blue dress. Claire Mason. My stomach dropped. Beneath the photo was a wilted corsage, its white petals brown with age, a folded piece of paper sealed with something dark and waxy. I didn't want to touch it, but my hand moved anyway, peeling it open with trembling fingers. The handwriting was neat, careful, girlish. It was the night of the prom. You looked at me, and for a moment I believed you saw me. I thought it meant something. But in that bathroom you laughed. They all laughed. The music was playing, and I was on the floor. I remember the tiles white, so clean turning red. I remember your face before I closed my eyes. Paper slipped from my hands. Claire, God, Claire. The memories came flooding back, cruel and sharp and unavoidable. We'd been 17, drunk on cheap vodka and teenage invincibility. Mason had dared me to ask her to dance, the weird, quiet girl who always ate lunch alone. I'd done it as a joke. She'd actually said yes. One dance turned into two. She looked at me like I'd given her the world. And then we'd gone too far. The jokes got meaner. The laughter got louder. In the girls' bathroom, away from the chaperones, things had escalated. I'd told myself she was fine when I left, that she was just being dramatic, that everyone would forget about it by Monday. She never came back to school. There'd been rumors, whispers about a breakdown, a hospitalization, a family that moved away without warning. But no one talked about it. Not really. Life went on. For us, anyway. The smell hit me, then copper and iron, thick and nauseating. I stumbled backward and caught my reflection in a cracked mirror mounted on the wall. Except it wasn't just my reflection. Behind me, standing perfectly still, was a girl in a pale blue prom dress. Her skin was the color of old paper. Her wrists, I couldn't look away from her wrists. The cuts were deep, vertical, precise. They didn't bleed anymore, but the edges were raw. And dark, and her hands hung limp at her sides like broken flowers. Her eyes met mine in the mirror. "Do you remember me now?" I ran. The hallways twisted around me, lockers slamming in sequence as I passed, the sound chasing me like applause. The music grew louder, distorting into something mechanical and wrong. Lights flickered overhead, fluorescents that shouldn't have worked, crackling with sick energy. Behind me, I heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate, patient. "You grew up." "Ethan," her voice came from the walls themselves now, layered and multiplied. "I didn't. That's what bullying does. It freezes time for the ones who never make it out." I burst through the gymnasium doors again somehow. Impossibly, I was back where I started. The spotlight was still there, but now the bleachers were full. Silhouettes, dozens of them, hundreds, all facing forward, watching. Their features were smudged and wrong, faces melting into shadow, but I recognized them anyway. My classmates. The class of 2010. And in the center of the floor, beneath that impossible light, Claire sat upright in a folding chair. Her head tilted slowly toward me. She smiled. "Welcome to the reunion," she said, and this time her mouth didn't move. The words came from inside my own skull. "We've been waiting for you." The silhouettes began to stand, their movements synchronized and fluid. They descended from the bleachers, forming a circle around me. I couldn't see their eyes, but I felt them watching, judging. Claire rose from her chair, her dress whispering against the floor. When she walked, she left wet footprints. "You all forgot," she said. "Moved on. Got jobs, got married, got lives. But I'm still here, Ethan. Still 17. Still bleeding. Still remembering. I tried to speak, to apologize, to beg, to explain, but my throat had closed. Phantom hands gripped my shoulders, my arms pulling me backward toward the bathroom door that had somehow appeared behind me. The music reached a crescendo, then slowed, warping into a mechanical whine that scraped against my eardrums. Claire leaned close, her breath cold against my face. "Some things," she whispered, "you never graduate from." The darkness swallowed me whole. They found my car the next morning, engines still running, headlights burning through the fog. The doors to Westfield High were closed and locked, just as they'd been for years. No signs of forced entry, no footprints in the dust. Just one new addition, carved into the mirror above the girl's bathroom sink. Class of 2010, present forever. And beneath it, scrawled in something dark and wet, "See you at the next reunion, Ethan." I used to think growing up meant leaving things behind. The school, the jokes, the stupid mistakes. But some things don't stay buried just because you pretend they never happened. We all laughed that night and moved on, but she never got to. Turns out the past doesn't forgive silence. It waits. It rots. And one day, it calls your name back through the dark. Thank you for listening to my story, and don't forget to subscribe to the Candle Curse channel.